Hi all, I have a very entertaining game to show you today in a chess nutshell. It was played in St. Petersburg in 1851 between Ilya Shumov playing white and Carl von Jaenisch playing black. Shumov was a Russian chess master. He worked as an officer in the Russian Navy until 1847, then worked as a civil servant in St. Petersburg. He was invited, along with two other Russian masters, Alexander Petrov and Carl Jaenisch, his opponent, to participate in the London 1851 chess tournament, but he did not arrive. Also, by the way, in the event, his opponent didn't play in that either. He arrived too late. But they were both, candidates for that classic London 1851 tournament, so they're both really good players in their own right. Carl von Jaenisch, by the way, was a major in the Russian army in 1838, and he started writing a book on chess openings, and 2 years later left the army to concentrate full-time on the task. After 4 years, Jaenisch published Analysis Nouvelle de Ouvertures de Jeux d'échecs in 1842 to 43. The work, together with Paul Rudolph von Bilger's handbook, marked the beginning of modern opening theory. So Carl Jaenisch, quite the opening theoretician. Let's see though what happened in this game. E4, c5, d4. Is it going to be a Smith-Morra? Nope. e5. And white perhaps didn't think too much about e5. Perhaps he should have. He played knight takes e5. There might be a slight snag to this move. Can you spot it? If I give you 5 seconds. Yep, check. It's a loose piece. Loose pieces drop off. White played now b4, which gives up a pawn as well. Bishop d2. Okay, it does succeed in exchanging off here the dark square bishops, if that's any advantage to white. But white fundamentally has lost that knight on e5. We have bishop d3. You'll note though that white has a more agile pawn centre than usual. He has taken out one of black's centre pawns and these are doubled. So if you have castles, he'll have f4. That's a point of note here. And in fact, after knight f6, both sides castle. Might be better for black to delay castling here and try and put a break on f4 and e5 with d6, believe it or not, because now after castling we have this mobile pawn centre f4, and the thing is, after e5 this is getting a little bit tricky for black. Even here it's getting a little bit tricky because this is an important defender of h7. Perhaps the knight should go to e8. But the knight went to d5, and in fact, technically, believe it or not, this is a pretty dangerous position for black. White in this position sacked a bishop, but even if he didn't, this is dangerous. For example, queen h5, let's imagine g6. Just imagine this position. You might think, well, what's the big deal? The big deal here is knight e4, potentially into knight f6. Example, rook e8, bishop c4, and already it's equal here, technically, because white has massive threats. Let me just show you. d3 check. Here, so say king h8. In this position, white can play bishop takes. And even though the knight's not heading here, after takes knight f3, knight g5 is winning for white already. It's winning for white with the queen installed there. Shows how dangerous this underlying issue, creating dark square weaknesses can be. This is just winning for white here. And yeah. So even, okay, but in the game we have bishop takes h7. King takes, check. And this is a bit unsound actually with best play. Black should be okay, even though it looks pretty frightening. So after queen takes c2, is trying to defend h7 from afar. He can get back, for example, on knight g5. I think he can play queen g6 here, for example. This is 100% check this position. Queen g6. So that's the idea, to get the queen back. But white doesn't want to do that. Now we have a move which seems as though black wanted to finish white for his insolence, his dropping a piece. This tempting move, knight e3, it threatens actually a mate in 1. Okay, but white plays rook takes e3, addressing the mate in 1, and also pursuing his own attack here after queen f5, now threatening with that loose queen, threatening knight f6 to win the queen rather cheekily. Probably best for black. Black's already a lot of material up. Probably black's best is to take this, and this position is fine for black. Here, black would actually be better, believe it or not. He's got a load of material here. Black should be okay. Knight and bishop is worth more than rook. The 2 rooks here, and black's got equal pawns. But black didn't do that. Didn't see the danger here. Played queen e2. The danger here is our attacking player's friend that I've mentioned in Crushing the King, this new video you might want to check out in the description, which is the fawn pawn. The dreaded fawn pawn arrives on the scene here after knight f6 check. So it threatens a mate. If black moves, it will be mate. So a fawn pawn is installed around black's king with g takes, e takes. We've got this fawn pawn now threatening just to mate black in 2. We have black desperately now trying to stop this with queen c2. A queen sack. It's very, very desperate thing to do. It's only delaying things. That fawn pawn's still there. Yeah, black's gone badly wrong here. We have queen d3, d4. Queen switches over here to go into g5. Rook d8. But the rook comes in to help. Another desperate move. That's just taken. White's just threatening here. Rook h3 and queen g5. That fawn pawn will help the mating net. The king won't be able to escape to e7. Black tries knight c6. Pardon me. Now the most accurate is actually rook h3 here. For example, e2, check, and as mentioned, rook h8. This is also pretty good though. What was played? Queen c5. Black was convinced he's lost now because of this check. There isn't too much defensive resource here, so black resigned. Kind of an amusing game. They were both good players. They were both invitees to the classic London tournament. A little bit amusing, but it also shows the dangers actually of having the knight dislodged from a mobile pawn centre. It wasn't completely in a vacuum how white got back into this game. Black needed to tread carefully, it seems. Taking out the centre pawn created that mobility, which created the risk later on h7, which in the variations weakened, g7 if g6 was needed. So it's kind of a little bit attacking instructive. It's a little model of something to think about in our own games maybe. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. Comments, questions, likes, appreciated. Thanks very much.